Hello, and welcome to Math Matters. I'm Mrs. Hale, and today we will be exploring plane and solid shapes. In today's second grade lesson, we are going to be learning to find similarities and differences between plane and solid figures. At the end of the lesson, you will know you have met today's learning goal if you are able to find similarities and differences between plane and solid figures, and if you are able to sort plane and solid figures into their correct groupings. So, what is a plane shape? A plane figure is a flat shape. It has length and width. You can draw a plane shape, but you can't pick it up and put it in your hand. These are often called two-dimensional shapes because they are flat. What is a solid shape? Solid figures are three-dimensional shapes that have length, width, and height. They are different than plane shapes because they have height. You can pick them up and hold them in your hand. Solid shapes can be thought of as plane shapes that are stuck together. They are similar to plane shapes because the surfaces of three-dimensional solid shapes are plane shapes, like squares, rectangles, triangles, and circles. Let's look for some similarities and differences. Look at these two shapes. One is a plane shape, the square. The other is a solid shape, the cube. Stop and think about how they are similar. In what ways are they alike? If you found a way that they are alike, say it out loud. How are they similar? You can see squares in both shapes. Now, stop and think about how are they different? If you can think of a way that these two shapes are different, say it out loud. So how are they different? The solid shape is made up of many squares, and the plane shape is just one flat square. The plane shape is flat, and the solid shape is three-dimensional. Did you think of any other ways that they are different? Let's look for some similarities and differences again. Look at these two shapes. One is a plane shape, the circle. The other is a solid shape, the cylinder. Stop and think about how they are similar. In what ways are they alike? How are the two shapes similar? You can see circles in both shapes, and they both have curved lines. Now, Stop and think about how they are different. How are these two shapes different? The plane shape is flat, and the solid shape is three-dimensional. Did you think of any other ways that they are different? Now we are going to do a shape sort. I am going to show you some pictures. You have to look at the picture and decide if it belongs in the two-dimensional plane shapes box on the left or in the three-dimensional solid shapes box on the right. Are you ready? Where does this shape belong? This is a tuna can. Is it a plane shape or a solid shape? How do you know? The tuna can is a solid shape. Now you can see the tuna can in the solid shapes box down below. Where does this new shape belong? Is it a plane shape or a solid shape? And how do you know? The triangle is a plane shape. Now you can see the triangle in the plane shapes box down below. Get the idea? We will continue sorting shapes. Now, where does this new shape belong? Is the block a plane shape or a solid shape? How do you know? The block is a solid shape. Where does this new shape belong? Is it a plane shape or a solid shape? How do you know? It is a plane shape. Where does this shape belong? Is it a plane shape or a solid shape? How do you know? It was a plane shape. Where does this shape belong? Is the rectangle a plane shape or a solid shape? How do you know? It was a plane shape. Where does this shape belong? Is the book a plane shape or a solid shape? How do you know? The book is a solid shape. Where does this shape belong? Is it a plane shape or a solid shape? How do you know? It is a plane shape. Where does this shape belong? Is the donut a plane shape or a solid shape? How do you know? The donut is a solid shape. Where does this shape belong? Is the heart a plane shape or a solid shape? How do you know? The heart is a plane shape. Where does this shape belong? Is the tissue box a plane shape or a solid shape? How do you know? The tissue box is a solid shape. Where does this shape belong? Is the party hat a plane shape or a solid shape? How do you know? The party hat is a solid shape. We sorted all of the shapes into plane shapes, two-dimensional shapes, and solid shapes, three-dimensional shapes. How did you do? Just for fun, as you go about your day today, see what kinds of plane and solid shapes you find around your house. See if you can describe the shapes and how they are similar and different. Ask yourself, is the shape a plane shape or a solid shape? And practice describing how plane shapes and solid shapes are similar and different. How did you do today working towards our learning goals? As I read each of the goals for today, use your thumb to reflect on where you are in your understanding. Give a thumbs up if you feel like you got it, a thumbs to the side or in the middle if you're still practicing, and a thumbs down if you still need some help from a grown-up. All right, let's check. I can find similarities and differences between plane and solid figures. Thumbs up, I got it. Thumbs to the side, I'm still practicing. Or thumbs down, I need some help. And the second one, I can sort plane and solid figures. Thumbs up, I got it. Thumbs to the side, I still need some practice. Or thumbs down, I need help from somebody at home. In today's episode of Math Matters, we learned about how plane and solid shapes are similar and how they are different. Try to look for plane and solid shapes at home today. I'm Mrs. Hale. I hope you have a great day and keep on counting.